Hey y'all, I'm Anna. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another What's for Dinner. I have 3 really good recipes to share with you. The first one is called chicken spaghetti, and I know there are so many different variations of chicken spaghetti, but this is the way that my mom and I have made it for years and years, and we absolutely love it. So let's get started with that one. Yesterday we got a new stove/oven. We got the induction kind, and I've got the oven at 350, and I cannot believe that this took 3 minutes to come to a boil. I just turned it down because it was like ferociously boiling a second ago. This is actually a mixture of water, salted water, and chicken stock. I usually only use water. I don't think I've ever boiled my spaghetti noodles in a mixture of both or chicken stock at all. I just did that today because I made some homemade chicken stock a few hours ago, and I figured I might as well just use the rest. I've got 2 cups of chicken stock sitting behind me that I'll use in the actual spaghetti, but that's what I've done here. Of course, just use water if that's all you have. And we're gonna be using, I think this is called vermicelli pasta or vermicelli. I think it's vermicelli. It's kind of a cross between angel hair and thin spaghetti. It's like right in between. I really like it. Usually I use angel hair, but this is just a tad bit thicker. I don't know if you can see that, but that's what I'm using today. Use any kind of spaghetti you like. I'm gonna cook it just shy of the package instructions, maybe like 1.5 to 2 minutes less than the package tells me to, because it's gonna bake more in the oven. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this in my boiling water/chicken stock. In a large bowl, I'll add 1 can of cream of mushroom, 1 can of cream of chicken. Sometimes I use both chicken, both mushrooms, but my favorite combination is 1 of each. And then I'll take 1 of my empty cans and do 1.5 cans of whole milk. I'll add just a little bit of salt and pepper, not a ton. In this other bowl, I have 2 rotisserie chickens, but they were pretty small. I'm not gonna use all of this chicken tonight. I'll probably use like 3/4 of this and then save the rest for later. So now I'm gonna add some chicken to the soup mixture. Now I'm adding in the drained pasta. Now this makes a ton of chicken spaghetti. I'm feeding my whole family tonight, my sister and her family too. And so this is needed for us tonight, but you could easily half the recipe, that would be fine. But tonight, since I've got so much, this probably will not fit in my 9 by 13 inch casserole dish. So what I'll do is put as much as I can in that dish, and then I've got a smaller 2-quart dish that I'll make just like a tiny one with. Now I'll add in about 2 cups of grated cheddar, and then I'll grate a little bit more to put on top. That's not perfectly combined, but when I put it in the casserole dish, I can mix it up some more. Now I'm adding in 2 cups of chicken stock. Now yes, this does look very soupy, but you gotta remember that when it bakes in the oven, the noodles will soak up a lot of that. And plus, our family just really likes it more on the creamy side. But if you don't like it like this consistency, if you want it a little bit drier, then you don't have to add as much stock or milk. So now I'm gonna transfer some of this into my smaller dish. Now my mom does this every time too. She'll make a big one and a small one, and most times she will send the smaller one over to her neighbors. So that's a really good idea if you've got neighbors that would appreciate it. You can give them one of yours. I just grated some more cheese, and now all I have to do is cover the top, and then we can pop them in the oven. Into the oven they go at 350 for about 30 minutes. We love chicken spaghetti so much. It is something that we make very often, and I really hope that you try that recipe. So the next recipe is chicken fried rice, and I love this recipe because if you have some leftover rice in the fridge, this is a great way to use that up. So let's get started. I have about 3 cups of cooked basmati rice. This has been in the fridge for a couple of days, and if you don't have any already cooked rice in your fridge, then you could just make it the same day you want to make fried rice, but what you should do is cook it and then spread it out on a baking sheet in a single layer and put it in the fridge and let it cool completely, and then it won't get mushy when you fry it up. So I've got my rice ready, half an onion, 1 carrot, a little bit of peas that I'm gonna put in at the very end, that's optional. Got 1 big chicken breast, some salt and pepper, soy sauce, and teriyaki sauce. So one thing with my new induction stove is that it makes a really loud humming sound when I turn it on, so sorry about that. But it's heating up now to about medium to medium-high heat. I'm gonna add in a big tablespoon of butter and 1 tablespoon of vegetable oil. I'm actually gonna turn this down now. It gets hot so fast. Still trying to get used to this thing. Okay. Adding in the carrot and onion. And I'll just let these saute here for about 5 minutes or so until they get really soft. And in the meantime, I'm gonna go chop up the chicken into about bite-sized pieces. I've moved all of the veggies to one side, and now I'm adding in my chicken. And I'll season it well with some salt and pepper. I'll also season this, I forgot to earlier. And I'll just let this continue to cook until the chicken is cooked through all the way, and then we'll add in the rice. So I would say actually that the chicken is maybe 2/3 of the way cooked now, and I want to go ahead and add in the rice because that's going to take a few minutes to cook, and I don't want the chicken to overcook. So I'm going to add in all of the rice. And once this heats through, the rice will separate and be perfect. Okay, so as far as the soy sauce and the teriyaki sauce goes, you can add as much as you want. I do not measure this. I just add in a couple of tablespoons, stir it around, and I kind of go by the color. That's when I know it's enough for me, but I'm gonna start off with my soy sauce. Oop, there it is. And add in a little bit of that and then stir it around, and we might add some more. Feel free to omit the teriyaki sauce and just use the soy sauce. I'm about to add this in now, by the way, just a little bit. But I think a combination of both is just really, really good. I do put more soy sauce than teriyaki. I'm gonna add a little bit more soy sauce. All right, I think that's perfect. So now I'll add in, this is probably 1/4 to 1/3 of a cup of frozen peas. Okay, I forgot to show this earlier, but I need 2 eggs. I'm going to stir them up real quick and then add it to the rice. I always move the rice over like that to pour in the eggs. Once these start to cook, I'll slowly incorporate it in with the rice. So this is pretty much finished for now. I'm gonna turn the heat down to low and cover it. Zach is not home yet. He should be home in a few minutes. And in the meantime, I'm going to slice up some green onions to put on top, and soon it'll be time to eat. So the other night when I made that rice, Katie Jane ate 3 bowls of it. I could not believe it. It's like she couldn't get enough of it. I'm so proud of her. So try that one if you haven't made it before. It really is better than takeout, and I really think that you'll like it. Okay, y'all, time for recipe number 3. This is shepherd's pie. Now, it is not a fancy kind. There is nothing extravagant about this recipe. It is very simple. I kind of call it like a lazy mom version of shepherd's pie. I really think that you'll enjoy it. It looks like it's not much of anything, but we all really love it around here, and I hope that you do too. I have my oven preheated to 350. The first thing I'll do is bake my pie crust for about 10 to 12 minutes. I'm gonna take a fork first and just prick it all over just so it doesn't puff up too much. And while that bakes, we'll get started on the ground beef mixture. I have a large skillet here that I'm about to preheat to about medium to medium-high heat, and once it gets hot, I'll add in about a tablespoon of vegetable oil, my onion, and all of the ground beef. I'll season it well with salt and pepper. My ground beef is all the way cooked through, and I actually just drained it and I put it right back in the same skillet. I'm letting it cook a little bit longer though because I want those onions to get really soft. My dad is coming over tonight and he's pretty picky about his onions, so I don't want them to have any kind of crunch. So I'm just gonna saute this for maybe 2 more minutes just to make sure that those onions are nice and soft. I have my ground beef mixture sitting right here. It does not have to cool off all the way to do this next part. It's still really hot, but that's fine. I've got both cans of the cream of mushroom soup. I'm actually using 2 different ones. I'm using the regular and then the kind with the roasted garlic. Just thought I'd change things up. Normally I just use this regular kind, but I'm gonna add 2 of those to this right now and stir it really well. So now that's nice and combined, next thing I'll do is divide that into my 2 pie crusts. All right, that's nice and even. So now I'll take 1 can of green beans for each pie, and I've already drained this really well. I'm just gonna pour 1 can on each one. Now the beans are not seasoned, so I'll just add a little bit of salt to each one. And I almost forgot about those mashed potatoes. I don't know what I'm thinking. So I'm gonna step over back to the stove and get about, I think 4 cups of water. Yeah, 4 cups of water in a saucepan and let that come up to a boil, and then I'll add these in. So you saw that I added some milk to the mashed potatoes, and I did that because they were a little bit on the dry side. Plus, they're gonna be baking in the oven for a while, and it will dry out in the oven, so I added a good splash of milk. So the next step is to divide the mashed potatoes onto each pie. I find that the best way to spread the potatoes out is with a fork, because if you do it with a wooden spoon, it sticks to it. At least it does to me, so I always use a fork. Last step is to add some cheddar cheese on top. I'm I'm gonna pop these in my oven at 350 for about 25 to 30 minutes. Okay, so that wraps up another What's for Dinner. All three of these recipes are incredibly easy, delicious, and I really think that you and your family would love all of them. If you try any of these recipes, please let me know down in the comments what your family thought of them. And I hope that you all have a great weekend and a great week. If you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. I would love it if you would join my YouTube family, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.